Hello, everybody. Today we are going to learn about Kelly, so it will be Kelly's show. I am the most important person, though, just so you are
You
aware.
are the mastermind behind this whole podcast.
Sure, something like that. But then I don't. You sound really smart when you say stuff. I'm just like, I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
That's why you asked me to be your
Yes.
your partner in this podcast.
I was smart. See,
You're
I
the
made the smart
mastermind, but I'm
decision.
the smart one.
All right, so really, it's kind of you've heard a lot of our podcasts. We're going to kind of dive a little bit into each other. Mine was before, hers is now. Get to know a little bit more about Kelly. So, first off, we're going to start with some ice break questions.
I'm really scared because he would not tell me the questions that he is going to ask. So,
all right, well, we'll do the hard one first, because I'm mean.
okay.
So, a penguin walks through that door right now wearing a sombrero. What does he say and why is he here?
Oh my god! What in the
Yes,
world?
I got a good one.
Oh.
So let me repeat it again. A penguin walks through this door right now wearing a sombrero. What does he say and why is he here?
He says, "Hola, I brought you tacos because I know you're hungry."
All right, we'll go with it. All right. That's perfect. All right, so what is the real reason behind starting this podcast, and kind of give me as to a why?
So when you contacted me, I have thought about doing a podcast for a while, and the idea really scared me. And I know that when something scares me, that it's probably like actually the right path.
Sure.
When something gets me excited but also scared. And so when you contacted me, I just knew that this was going to be a good fit because I'm interested in getting more of a following. I want to help as many people as I can, of course, with good information about health and wellness because I'm passionate about those things. And also, you know, I knew this would be a good fit for my business as far as getting more following for Kelly Bailey Wellness.
Sure, yeah.
And so that's, you know, that was what interested me in the podcast. And of course, I like I said, I absolutely am passionate about sharing information to help people get well.
And so we've done this for, well, it'll be about a little over a month now. So did you think it was going to be as hard or easier, or did you come in with any preconceived notions?
I actually, honestly, I thought it was going to be harder.
Right.
And I have to give you props because I know that on your end it probably is harder because basically you just come over here and we have all of the recording equipment set up and we record and then I post but you do all of the editing and stuff.
It's a lot easier than you think it is.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because I hear people say that the editing part is awful, but you know, for me, this is actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. And so I've been pleasantly surprised that I've enjoyed it as much as I have and that it hasn't been as difficult as I thought it would be.
Well, that's good. So on the part of being a personal trainer and business owner, did you ever think that you would even be a personal trainer or an owner in that?
No. And it's funny because in when I did your interview, you mentioned that you had done some sort of like a thing during high school about like what career might be best for you.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just did one of those through a lady in Medina, and her business is called Opportunity Knocks.
Yeah.
And it's like a 500 question quiz that you take, and it's all about ask you all these weird questions about, you know, like different things that you would like to do or not like to do and your personality. And one of the things that came out on top of my list was being a fitness or a wellness coach or a trainer.
Oh, really? That's
so
funny.
Yes, I know it's really strange, but in my past life, I was in the education field. But I was actually more into like environmental science and biology.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to my undergraduate degree is in environmental studies. And so I actually did that for about 3 years. I was teaching fisheries education, freshwater fisheries.
Sure.
So no, I did not ever imagine in a million years that I would be running my own business and that it would be in fitness and wellness.
Right. And then what do you like the most about it?
Honestly, I love writing the most. I love doing the blog, even though I am making zero money at the
I
moment
can tell you
writing
like
a blog.
those
I love.
because I try to write and I'm like, I am a terrible at English. So I'm literally, I have Grammarly on my computer and I'm like, what do I even write about and how do I even word these things? But yours are really, really good.
Well, I appreciate that. I work really hard on them, and but like I said, I love doing that part, and I feel like I can reach a much larger audience and help more people that way through my blog.
Sure,
But
yeah.
I also very much enjoy my one-on-one coaching and training sessions with clients because I get to know these people, and I feel like I can really help them on an individual level.
All right. So, in the current health climate, as far as like the fitness industry, etc., what do you like the most, and what do you hate or dislike the most? Like, example, how keto and low carb is all the rage, intermittent fasting, etc. So, one thing that you really like in this climate, and one thing that you do not.
I think the one thing I really like is the fact that we have access to so much information, and that it can, if you don't let it get too overwhelming, it really can help you improve your health. What I don't like, and I guess in my personal experience through going on lots of these diets, is that it seems like so many of them are so restrictive. And for me, it caused me to have disordered eating patterns,
Sure.
disordered body image. So, and just like that feeling of never really feeling good enough. So, I feel like the images that are portrayed in the fitness industry are sometimes a little bit skewed, and they give people this false impression of, especially for both men and women,
Right.
what we're supposed to look
I would
like.
say one more women than men.
I think women feel more pressure
Yeah.
than men do, but both sexes feel the pressure, and again, a lot of times it's an unrealistic image
Sure.
of what a lifestyle should be, and also an unrealistic image of what we're supposed to look like.
Okay. So if you don't know, Kelly lives kind of like on a farm. I mean, she doesn't have any, I don't think you have any cows, right?
No, we've
Yeah.
thought about it, but we need
Sure.
fencing, and
So what do
fencing's
you,
not cheap.
so what do you have right now?
Right now, we have two ponies, two dogs. We have three cats. We have one duck, and I think 10 or 11 chickens.
Okay. So living on the farm, what is your least favorite task besides cleaning up doo-doo?
That besides that, no, that would be like, yeah, my probably okay. So if it's not cleaning up doo doo, it's probably cleaning up the other ones, pee and vomit.
Oh, that's great.
Because yeah, if with all of these animals, it's like every day I'm either cleaning up pee, puke, or poop.
Nice.
So
So it's just a cleaning job,
pretty
basically,
much,
all the
pretty
time.
much. Actually, and like I don't mind cleaning up in the barn all that much.
Right.
And I love being outside, so I don't feel like there's too many downsides to living out here, and living on the small farm and that lifestyle. So.
Sure, sure. So, do you think that with social media, Photoshop, Snapchat, Instagram, all that stuff that's out there right now, do you think that reason there's so many health fads and movements, and do you think that it is a good or bad um, shift? Because I mean, before you'd have to go to the library and learn about these things. Now you have some Instagram model that's either A, never worked out in their life, or B, just has a pretty face that they're modeling these things. So do you think that's a good, bad? What's your take on that?
My take on that overall, especially for women and young girls, is that social media has, and all the stuff that goes with it. So using like the filters and stuff, and making being able to make your body more slender. Again, it goes back to this whole thing. It's like we're being shown all of these images of perfect lives and perfect bodies, and again, a lot of the stuff we see is of the genetic elite, what I call the
Oh, yeah.
genetic elite. Women and men who are just genetically predisposed to being more that way or having six pack abs or, tall and thin.
Sure.
And it's just not realistic for most of us. And
Right.
so there have been studies that show that women and especially young girls who are constantly exposed to these images, they have a higher incidence of eating disorders. They have a higher incidence of body dysmorphia. And so my overall take on it, on the social media thing, when it comes to like our health and wellness, is that it's been kind of a negative.
Okay, I would totally agree with you on that one. So, alrighty, so we talked about mainstream media. So one thing you're able to change in the mainstream news that you know is false, what would that be and why?
One thing that I'd want to change in the mainstream news.
So let me just give you an example. So Jillian Michaels a few months ago said, so the main thing is right now is low carb, high fat, all that stuff.
Right.
So
like
she
keto.
says the total opposite. So let's eat as much carbs as you want and lower the fat. And she's right to an extent. I mean, but it depends on how people take that. So if I'm just an avid person that's just Jillian Michaels, she's famous. She's telling me eat carbs and high protein. If I don't know what carbs those are, okay, I'm gonna go eat a pizza. It has protein on it. It has whatever.
Here's what I would say. Don't really believe anybody. Don't even believe what I say or what TJ says.
Believe everything I say.
Be your own advocate, because all of this stuff that we see on social media and TV and magazines, the thing is if there was a single perfect diet or exercise program or method or whatever it may be, we would all be thin, happy, healthy, rich.
True.
We would be every one of us would be all of those things. The key, I think, here to remember is that there's not a single program or way of doing things that works for every person. And so if you can't start to open your mind and start to pay attention to your own body and how foods feel in your body and how certain types of exercise feel for your body, then you're going to continue to struggle with your health and your lifestyle.
Okay. That totally makes sense. So I know we're both parents. I'm a new parent, and you've been in the game for a little bit longer, obviously. So as a parent, do you try to instill healthy eating habits, or do you just let them be a kid?
That one is so tough. That's a really tough. It's a great question, because I honestly feel that with my daughter, I probably took the healthy eating thing a little too far. And now she's like anti-healthy food.
Sure.
If she even like thinks it's healthy, or, like getting her to eat anything that even closely resembles a plant is really difficult. And so I've actually had to backtrack a little bit, and I've really had to drop the whole, like, we're going to eat healthy foods all the time. And I had to let her be a kid.
Sure.
Because what was happening is like she's going over to grandma's house and just like gorging on all of this other stuff. And I'm like, I'm creating in her the same problems that I'm trying to solve in the women that I see. And so I think that there's a balance. I do think that trying to model good behavior. So like, I try and eat healthy, but without without saying stuff about it all the time and being annoying.
Yeah, because if it's in your face all the time, you're just not going to want to do it.
Right. I also try and have both like mostly healthy options in the house, because if you have all junk food in your house, that is what everybody's going to eat.
Sure.
So I try and have lots of different options available. And again, I've learned at this point that, if the healthy foods are available, and if I am modeling good behavior without necessarily, like proclaiming it and being annoying, that, she's much more likely to be accepting of eating healthy foods.
Sure. Yeah, it makes sense. So a couple more questions. We'll wrap this up. So what is your biggest motivation in life regards to your business, exercise?
My biggest motivation right now, and this has been, a revolving door for me. It's constantly changing. Right now, I would say that my biggest motivation is just being healthy. I just want to feel good. I want to feel good in my body, in my mind, and in my mind. And so that's been my biggest drive of the moment, is just is just feeling good, being able to do stuff that I like to do, hike, kayak, and things like that.
Okay. And then the last question, a little not as crazy as the penguin one. So, what is one thing you would do if money wasn't an option?
If money wasn't an option,
Money is not an option. What is one thing you would do? Could be travel, could be buy a house, it could be whatever.
so this is a great question. And the first thing that comes to mind for me, like the first thing that popped into my head would be I would move to a warmer climate.
Okay.
So probably the Bahamas, and I would open a retreat center
Okay.
where I would bring in like holistic nutrition, and of course fitness experts and like chiropractor, and I would make it more of an integrative practice of wellness. So that would be like my ideal, and of course I would continue writing my blog because I really enjoy that. So
Okay. Well, hey, I'm glad you guys stick with us and you got a little bit of insight on Kelly's life, especially on the penguin question. Apparently, he has tacos and they're
I'm
here
hungry.
for us. So
I'm
she is
hungry.
hungry. So thank you for tagging along, and hopefully you learned a little bit more about Kelly.
See ya.
Hey everyone, this is TJ and
Kelly.
with the Initiative Project Podcast. If you like what you heard, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions you'd like us to cover, please email us at initiativepodcast@gmail.com. See you next time.